Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. In the previous video, we talked about what is shareholders agreement and what are the frequently asked questions about the shareholders agreement, which you can find the link here. If you have not watched the video and it's not clear on what is shareholders agreement, I would strongly advise you to watch that video before continuing with this video. In this video, we are going to discuss what do you need to know as a majority shareholder and minority shareholder. Make sure that the terms are included before signing any shareholders agreement. As discussed in the previous video, you are not advised to download any random templates online because you may impose more risk to your rights as the terms included in the template may not be in your favor. We are going to split this video into 4 parts. What do you need to know as a minority shareholder? What do you need to know as a majority shareholder? Recap and conclusion. The relevant timestamps actually stated here, so please feel free to skip to the part which you think is relevant to you. Oh, just a short introduction here. My name is Ashley Yeo and I'm a lawyer practicing in Malaysia. Now, let's get started. Let's start with minority shareholders. You can skip to this part if you are more interested in majority shareholders instead. I would highly encourage minority shareholders to enter into a shareholders agreement. Despite the fact that the Companies Act has provided some form of protection to the minority shareholders, such as derivative actions for minority oppression. However, going through actions like this may result in expensive litigation, which I do not think you would want to get yourself into. As a minority shareholder of a company, you would need to take note of the following points. First is a reserved matter. Reserved matter are matters which a company will need unanimous vote to decide. This is actually one of the most important points for minority shareholders to take note to safeguard its rights against the majority shareholders. The common reserved matters are clauses in relation to any changes of the nature of the business of a company, any dissolution, liquidation or winding up of a company, or any increase of a capital of a company. Next, the appointment of the shareholders. Directors of a company are responsible for day-to-day decision-making and management of a company. As a minority shareholder, you would need to make sure that you have the right to appoint at least one director in the company. Such an appointment may not give you control to the company, but would enable you to have a clear view of the operation, and most importantly, safeguard your rights as a minority shareholder. Next, the tag-along right. Tag-along right is a right of a shareholder to tag along with the majority shareholder in the event that the majority shareholder wishes to sell its shares to another party. This right provides the minority shareholders to exit the company together with the majority shareholders at the same terms and conditions or terms not less favorable than the majority shareholders. Next, the preemption right. Preemption right is a right given to the shareholders of a company to purchase additional shares in the event of any allotment made by the company before such shares are offered to any other third party. In short, if a company wishes to allot any new shares, the preemption right gives the shareholders a right to subscribe to those shares first before it's offered to any other third party. This clause is important to minority shareholders to maintain certain percentage of ownership in the company. Next, let's discuss what do you need to know as a majority shareholder. As a majority shareholder of a company, you will need to take note of the following points. First is the restriction of transfer. The restriction of transfer is actually useful to prevent the shares from being transferred to the wrong hands, especially your competitors. The rights of first refusal and the rights of first offer are actually commonly seen in respect of restriction of transfer. The right of first refusal is actually more commonly used in shareholders agreement in Malaysia. This mechanism favors shareholders who intends to stay long term, as the selling shareholders has to solicit an offer from a third party before offering the shares to the non-selling shareholders. In practice, the third-party buyer would usually refuse to incur any due diligence expenses or even spend time negotiating the deal when the shares are subject to right of first refusal. As a result of this, the offer may be lower. Let's go to the right of first offer. The right of first offer provides the non-selling shareholders with the right to make an offer for the selling shareholders' shares before the selling shareholder can solicit for third-party offers for its shares. This mechanism favors the likely seller because it actually put the onus on the non-selling shareholders to actually make an offer first, usually within a given period of time. After the time frame is over, the selling shareholders is then free to accept or refuse the offer. If they refuse, the shares can be sold to a third party, usually at a higher price. In short, the right of first refusal will usually require a third-party offer before the selling shareholders could offer its shares to the non-selling shareholders. The right of first offer will provide the non-selling shareholders with the right to make offer first before the shares can be solicited to other third-party buyers. Next is the drag-along right. A drag-along right is a majority shareholder's right to require the minority shareholder to join in the sale of a company. In short, the majority has the right to drag along the minority shareholder in the event of any sale of the company. Next is the reserved matters. Reserved matters are matters on which a company will need unanimous voting to decide. As a majority shareholder, you may want to restrict the scope of your reserved matters, because having a wider scope of reserved matters would actually benefit the minority shareholders. Next is the board representation and control. As discussed in the previous point, directors of a company are responsible for day-to-day decision-making and management of business and entitled to exercise its powers as necessary. Majority shareholders typically have the right to control the board. However, it would be beneficial to the majority shareholders to negotiate for a chairman to be one of its directors, and to ensure that the appointed chairman has a casting vote. A casting vote is an extra vote given to the chairman to decide on an issue when the votes on both sides are equal. Now, let's recap. If you are a minority shareholder, you would need to make sure that, firstly, the reserved matters are widely covered. You have the right to appoint at least one director in the company. You have the right to tag along if the majority shareholders decide to sell its shares to any other person. Lastly, you have the right to subscribe to any newly issued shares to prevent any dilutions to your shareholdings. If you are the majority shareholder, you will need to make sure that, firstly, the clause on restriction to transfer to prevent the shares from transferred to the wrong hands. Your right to drag along the minority shareholders in the event that you would like to sell the company to any other third party, as this may give you a better bargain. On reserved matter, you may want to restrict the scope of the reserved matters. And lastly, negotiate for the chairman to be one of your appointed directors and for the chairman to have a casting vote. I know that a lot of people would download any random templates online and just sign on it. This is also commonly used for any other agreements. However, you are not advised to do that because downloading any random templates online would actually impose more risk to your rights, because the terms in the template may not be in your favor. You may also engage with a lawyer who can assist you with drafting your shareholders agreement. Understand that we are now in MCO 3.0, but signing of documents is still possible by e-sign. If you are interested to find out more about e-sign, when you should and should not e-sign, please feel free to check out the video here. If you have not checked out my previous video on what is shareholders agreement and the frequently asked questions about shareholders agreement, please feel free to check out the video here. Hope the information provided to you are helpful to you. Please feel free to comment down below if you have any questions or any other related topics which you would like me to discuss. I will update this channel on every Thursday at 8 PM, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching this far. See you in the next video and bye bye.